The recent launch of OpenAI's ChatGPT is raising some serious alarms within Google. Obviously, ChatGPT is a massive competitor to Google search because while Google just sort of scours and indexes the web and gives you the most appropriate result, ChatGPT pretty much does the same but is also able to extract information, put it all together, and present it to you in a more digestible way. Sort of like what I try to do with the tech news, so please leave a like and maybe follow for more. Google is now focusing on AI as a primary domain and has announced layoffs for over 12,000 employees. And they've also announced that they plan to unveil more than 20 AI projects this year, including a version of its search engine with chatbot features. So to just sort of further describe just how seriously Google is taking this is the fact that they've brought in two of their founders to sort of help guide them in a direction, like what should they do, because obviously this is a very serious issue. Google does not want to lose the fact that they own the most popular web search engine on the planet, because with that comes a lot of money and a lot of power as well. And if you don't think that people can just turn on Google search, because we literally say, yeah, just Google it. If you think people are just like never gonna stop using Google just because of just how popular it is and just how much in our culture it actually is, you might be wrong. I mean, there's plenty of TikTok articles, for example, about how the younger generation no longer really Google stuff. They just go onto TikTok and they search it on TikTok because they prefer just getting some sort of a list of short videos instead of going on Google, getting a list of a few articles and a few longer YouTube videos, and that just takes way too long for the youngsters. Right? And lastly, I'm just going to share how using OpenAI's ChatGPT has actually decreased my Google search usage directly, you know, how it impacted my using of the Google. For instance, recently I was making a fitness app prototype, and just a little function, just a little page in that application was going to be 20 common Q&A, you know, questions and answers about working out, you know, sort of the most common questions that somebody that's going into working out might have. And I asked ChatGPT to just generate a list of 20 of these things, and it did it, and I read a few of them, and they were really good. Would have taken me longer on Google to actually find a list and sort of compile everything myself. Not to mention, I might get some more useless information there. So what I mean by, if somebody is just new to things and they maybe ask, hey, how do I lose weight? ChatGPT wrote the answer of like, hey, you just need to burn more calories than you consume. Simple law of thermodynamics, makes a lot of sense. If you might Google search that, it might give you a bunch of other stuff as well and make you more confused, like, hey, you need to do keto, you need to do empty stomach cardio, and so on. So I don't know, ChatGPT was pretty great. Google might have been okay as well. Certainly would have taken longer if I Googled it and then I had to do a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I mean, in that case, ChatGPT just won. And the other pretty crazy example was I had to implement a GDPR policy on a web application as a prototype. So I just went to ChatGPT and said, hey, just make me a page in HTML and just sort of write out a generic GDPR policy. So that's Europe's whole data protection and that sort of stuff, except cookies, you know, it's that sort of a thing. And it did it, and it worked. I did not need to Google search and compile a list myself, explain the policies myself, and then actually write HTML code and put it all in there. ChatGPT just did it all for me, and it took me about a minute. So yeah, Google should probably be worried, and now they're going to be releasing over 20 AI products, which might be a little bit excessive, but it's definitely going to be an interesting year.